Hi guys, welcome to another video, and yeah, it is gonna be a little bit different one than you are used to. I'm not painting anything today, or at least it is not the intention of the video to show you some paint job. Truth be told, I just don't have anything to show you. I've been pretty busy working on a lot of special stuff for the next month. You can probably guess the theme given what month it is going to be. Plus I have been really pushing hard on my Blood Angels to get my list ready for some event in October I will be attending. You will probably see some army showcase or some photos on Instagram or whatever, or something like that in the future. And also for the last month, like every eShop and delivery service decided to screw me over, so that's really fun. And right now we are watching the third thing that has been keeping me really busy. Yes. Today I would like to talk about a topic that is very close to my heart, and I am really excited about it. The old world. I will just leave some footage in the background, but this is mostly me rambling for some time. It is also unscripted for most part, so I apologize if I get off topic. Games Workshop has been feeding us with the old world news for a while, and whether it is coming this year or next year, we all feel it is close. And the question I would like to ask today is whether it is the best setting for your creativity. But before that, we need to get a little bit backstory. I got introduced into this hobby by my father, and I believe it was during the end of 6th edition of Warhammer Fantasy. So I would say around the beginning of 4th edition Warhammer 40k. That might be about the same time. And we painted a lot and played a lot, and I really fell for the setting. I did so until probably the beginning of the 8th edition Fantasy, and by the time I played a lot of factions. But around the time I sort of lost interest with the high school graduation and college and stuff, blah blah blah. But I still was, and I still am, fantasy and sci-fi nerd, so when the Nurgle Plague hit and everything stopped for a while, I spent a lot of my time with books. First, the one I already had, but did not read for a while, like Discworld or Witcher or Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. And eventually I got into my Gotrek and Felix collection. And with that the flame has been relit. But still, I was not actively in the hobby when Fantasy ended. So I was not really sad about the transition between Fantasy and Age of Sigmar. But at the time I started to return to the hobby, there was so much new stuff. It was really crazy. The only thing I knew, sorta, back from the day was Warhammer 40k. So I started with some books and with YouTube videos to get somewhat familiar, but I ultimately fell for the Horus Heresy and the Primarchs. That was what really got me. And this was around the shift between, I believe, the 8th and 9th edition of 40k. And everyone can probably relate, but from here it all really happened really fast. I picked up some minis on eBay, got me the Indomitus box set, and started painting and reading more and more of the lore, and well, here we are. But I haven't started playing until the coming of the 10th edition. And yeah, it has been great. But what is more important, the Games Workshop decided to bring back the setting I started with and I loved, in the shape of the old world. And I really don't know what messed up decision was to tell us 4 years ago and then really slow feed us with the glimpses, but okay, no harm. But now it is here, around the corner, and I'm very excited. Not just because it is coming, but I feel like now is the time for GW to create a really good game around it. There are a few things I want from this release. There are a few questions we still need answered. That's probably the video for some other time. The community right now is really split, and there is a raging question on the internet. How can you enjoy the 10th edition? Well, for me it is probably because I came from the fantasy. And it is the last game I actually actively played. Believe me, it was everything but balanced. You know, the game where one spell could make or break a game is nuts, but it was really fun. I know GW has released some articles about the works of magic, and from what I can understand, it would work more as it works in 40k now with Psychic, which is good, but I still want some races to be dominant with the magic, like elves or lizardmen. And that brings me to the thing I want most. For the individual races to have a flavor. I don't want it to be balanced in a sense that everything is the same. Elves should be dominant through the magic, but not a horde on the table. Dwarves should be masters engineers and unmovable in their stance. Especially in the setting which is, set in the past, where the races are really very individual. And I want it to be seen the most in the Empire. Remember, this is before Magnus, before Elven magic and dwarfish engineers in the Empire, and before the united Empire. So the states should be recognizably different, and not just by the paint job, but also the miniatures. But this brings me back to the question from the beginning: is Warhammer the Old World best setting for your creativity? Well, yes. That is the short answer. But remember why GW ended the fantasy. Because it was too general and just not copyrightable. Because you can take any mini of a man with a sword and make him your general. And this was an issue 15 years ago. But now, when I can go online and literally find thousands of sculpts of basically every race to print, it is just beyond that. And before you start typing about supporting the game and how GW will end it again if it does not sell well, and other BS, I would like to have a little rant about it. I am very excited for the game, and that's it. But I can't see myself spending a shit ton of money on old metal and Forge World resin, and I don't think anyone should actually do that. So the problem is quite apparent. If the success or failure of the Old World stands on the old metal and shitty resin, then it is almost certainly not ending very well. But that is not all of it. If you consider the quality of different plastic minis, I think the game will be quite an experience. Take for example the new Bretonian Damsel, and you put it in a unit of 20-year-old knights who are basically fighting this block of metal hammers. The scale difference will be really spectacular, but it is not really the problem. The problem is that GW will try to sell it like this. There are rumors about the new box sets, but I don't really care about them. The truth is that when it comes out, there will be a new gorgeous HQ, whether it is Damsel or Paladin on foot, in a block of very palpably old minis. And that would not look great. I don't know the content of these boxes, but I guess we are all expecting something like that. Of course, you can use the Age of Sigmar minis, just not the one that did not exist back then in the army books. I feel like there is a lot of misunderstanding about, this topic. But for example, you can't use the big ass pig in your orc army. But the new art boys can be definitely your black orcs. Or for the wood elves, they would not have all the spirit stuff the Sylvanets have right now, but the new dryads and tree men are good to go. This fact alone is, for me personally, a little light of hope. And this is an approach I would really advise for you. But the main reason why this is the best setting, and also my hope for the setting, is to keep the RPG element. The fact is that in the past you could paint your mini anyway, because there was just one empire, one dwarf, one high elf faction. And the process of making them your own army was solely on the paint job and kit bashing. And the kit bashing community was huge. But with the coming of 10th edition and the modern format of GW, I wonder if there will be rules for different states or different dwarven holds. We know the empire is split, and probably will get multiple rule sets and miniatures from a different states. But what about the dwarves? I plan to do this as Zavbar, or whatever you pronounce that, which in every setting is engineering marvel. And I would like it to be really shown on the tabletop, at least in some shape or form. And the last thing I would like to talk about is painting, because that, in my opinion, was why the setting is awesome for your creativity. You don't have to stick just to one paint scheme. This setting is based on basically Middle Age, mostly Europe, and a lot of heraldries and stuff is very similar. So you don't have to stick to just one paint scheme. If you want to have, for example, Midland army. Midland as a state has many lords and many small factions. So you don't have to be within the main Midland scheme, because each of them has, their own colors and heraldries. So for an empire, just pick a scheme you like, or which have some personal meaning to you, and give it your own backstory. And the same can be applied to almost every faction. Bretonnian kingdoms, Orcish wars, and even dwarves. As I said, I am painting this as Zavbar, because it is just best. But not everyone will be the same. Some models will be of engineering guild, some will be of the king's house, some will be from some other house. All of them with a little bit different heraldries, and that will give the whole army the real feeling of a force just from the whole hold. So just try and do the same. Just give your army a story, some lore behind them, and it will be more meaningful for you. There will be an army showcase when they are all done, and I have planned some videos about painting them, so just subscribe and so you don't miss out. But I think my rambling is at the end for now. If you're still watching this, just let me know down below if you would like to see more of this type of videos. Just me mostly talking about stuff or reacting to stuff. I will probably do more of these about the old world when, the news start dropping more frequently, but let me know any other topic you would like to talk about. And let me know the story of your own factions or army. And I will see you very soon.